everybody. My name's Ariel Perets, and it's really a pleasure to be here in the company of such great people that are both the organizer, Erez, and also all the great speakers. Some of them are friends of mine. It's almost like I feel like I'm hanging out with everybody, listening to all the talks today, really inspiring as we approach Rosh Hashanah, exactly 6 days left to this year to contemplate what we're going to do, what is our game plan to really get into the new year and start off in the most amazing way. So the whole talk is about what is the game changer that's going to jumpstart a whole new era in your life, that's going to change your relationship with God, your relationship with others, and just start the best life that you could live. I know that's a lot of goals to have, but they are achievable. It's not just some bombastic promise that I'm making. I think that there are some great tools out there that can really allow us to tap into our full potential. And the Baal Shem Tov says that the last 12 days before the end of Elul are ones where you could rectify and really correct all the 12 months of the year. Well, now we have 6. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do it in 6 days as opposed to 12 days. So I wanted to talk to you about what I believe is one of the most amazing game changers for me in my life, in my spiritual life as a Jew. And I will start off just by telling you a quick story about how I came about to this amazing tool. Back 5-6 years ago, I was going through a difficult time, and pretty much in every area of my life, I was unhappy, unsatisfied. Even though on the face of my life everything seemed to be going great, but inside of me I felt a void. I felt that I was just not reaching where I should be as a person. So oftentimes it's when your soul cries inside, that's when you know that there's things that you need to change, and it's a great thing because Hashem sends that to you. So by one reason or another, I was introduced to who would become a very big mashpia in my life, Rabbi Lazer Brody, who has written a lot of books, is a life coach, has translated also books of Rabbi Shalom Arush, and basically he and I spoke, and I told him about all these difficulties that I was having. I felt like everything was caving in on me, and I was really just having a very tough time. So he gave me some tips, but the greatest tip of all of them told me to go and speak to Hashem. I had gone all around the world, talking to different advisors, experts, reading books, etc., and never dawned on me to just go and do the simple thing, which is to talk to Hashem. He told me that in my situation, because there were difficulties and because of just the situation I was going through, that I should spend 6 hours, find a place, and speak to God for 6 hours. Now, that sounds like a formidable task, to spend 6 hours straight pouring your heart out to God. And I thought to myself, what the heck, why not? So on a Sunday, I went in very scorching weather in the valley of California, Los Angeles, and I went into some forest. Although forest is not the reason, it's not necessary to go there, you can go pretty much anywhere. And I went inside, and I took with me some grapes, some water, and I took a notepad, and I went inside, deep into the forest, found myself a quiet place, and stood there. The sun was in my eyes, I saw the rays looking up at the sky, and I'm just trying to figure out what's the next step. Is there going to be a sign? Is there going to be a burning bush? What's going on? Of course, none of that happened. But soon enough, my heart started warming up. And I just said, God, I've been serving you as a Jew, but I never really spoke to you, for the last 2 decades or so. And so I started to just speak about all the chronicles of my life, from the very start, from the earliest memories, literally from everything that I went through in my life, things that I was proud of, things I wasn't proud of, issues that I had, things that were, just, hidden in the recesses of my heart. And I just started going on and on. There were moments of pauses, but before you know it, I found myself having a conversation like one that I never had. And by the end of that afternoon, which rolled into the evening, when I came out of there, I felt like my soul was really cleansed. I felt literally like I was an eagle soaring. And I know when I told this to my wife, she was laughing, thought that was an exaggeration, but I literally felt like that. I felt 100 pounds lighter with all the baggage that I was able to unload. And to do that, I did not need to read hundreds of books. I didn't need to go and meet with therapists at $100 an hour. I didn't need to do anything other than do the simple pashut thing of just opening my heart to Hashem, which is a tradition that is not one that was created by a particular sect of Jews, Breslevers or whatnot. It's something that harks back to Avram Avinu when he stared at the sky and realized that there is just one God. When Yitzchak went to the fields and talk to talk to Hashem. There were no books back then. Same thing with Yaakov, same thing with Moshe Rabbeinu, same thing with pretty much every person who ever became, had a very close relationship to Hashem. I know that they all had a communication flow that was not limited to a prayer book, a communication flow that was between a child to a father. And that's exactly what your relationship and my relationship and everyone is to Hashem. That He's our Father and He's always waiting to hear us. And the reason why many people have a problem with doing that, or not a problem, but resistance to it, is because the greatest things are always met with the greatest resistance. And this is why your evil inclination will fight you tooth and nail to give you distractions, to really to cause you to have excuses not to do it. I heard one time from a very sweet, awesome rabbi here in Los Angeles, who said that he's been practicing personal prayer for over 3 decades, and every day he writes down, I think he writes it down, but every day he writes down all the excuses he has. No, maybe I should go pray first. Maybe I should learn for 2 hours. Maybe I should go for a run. Maybe I should go help him, help in the kitchen and whatnot. But every day he finds a way to go against reason and logic, the logic of his evil inclination, and he goes out and opens his heart to God. And this is the most amazing gift. It's a gift that is accessible at any time. There's no human being in the world that can be available to you 24 hours a day, whenever you need them, without an appointment, except for God. And this is why personal prayer, private prayer, intimate prayer, hitbodedut, whatever you want to call it, is what I think one of the greatest tools for a person to come close to Hashem. For me, it's completely changed everything. I was going to shul every day. I was going through all the motions, but things became very routine and lacked vitality until I discovered this amazing daily ritual of speaking to Hashem. And when I say speaking to Hashem, some people tell me, well, I speak to Hashem, when I'm on my way somewhere, if I get 5 minutes here, or when I'm, in the middle of my, middle of praying in a synagogue, I think about Hashem, I talk to Him, and I think those things are great. However, what I'm talking about is really setting aside really a personal time and space just to speak to Hashem. Not in this, not in a shul, not in a setting like that, but a private place. A private place where you're saying, I'm dedicating this time because I want to talk to you. So I want to tell you that as a result of doing that, it's changed every facet of my life. And it changed the lives of everyone around me. Because when you project light and happiness and less anxiety, then everyone around you naturally gravitates to it and is and you light them. You light them like a sun lighting a moon. You light them and they reflect that back. It's a truly amazing thing. So I want to explain the mechanics of how personal prayer works, and there's really no set format. I have friends who ask me, hey, what should I do? How should I do it? So the first thing is that the best thing to do is to try to create a consistent time that you set aside to do it. That's the most important thing, and to see any improvement in anything, obviously consistency is the key. And basically, it doesn't really matter where you go. You don't have to go to a forest. You don't have to have the perfect conditions with complete tranquility and no humans around you. Clearly, it's better if you can do it, but if you don't have access to it, you can pretty much go talk to Hashem wherever you are. You can just go to a room. Just go in a room and do it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that to do it, you just really need to devote, I'd say, at least at the start. If you can't do what is optimal, which is 60 minutes, start with 10 minutes. And what is it? In those 10 minutes, what do you do? The first thing I do is that I first create the preparation, get myself into the mindset that I want to talk to Hashem. So I already make a visual that I'm heading into the palace where Hashem dwells, or whether it is now, let's say He's in the field, it's Elul, that I'm going and meeting Him there. And obviously I don't see an image or anything, but I'm feeling like I have a meeting, an important meeting. And I say, please Hashem, help me to be able to be focused, to be able to be truthful, to look at myself honestly, to be able to do that self-assessment of where I need to be and what I need to do in my life, and to not be distracted and not to let my evil inclination try to stir me away from doing this. Because your evil inclination will tell you, what are you doing? You're not some righteous person. What do you think? You can just go and talk to Hashem whenever you please, or there's a game now going on. Isn't that better? Maybe later you should do it. There's going to be all kinds of excuses that come to your mind. Anything to distract you, or like, oh, let me check first my emails, let me get the work done, and then I'll have completely free time. No, don't do it. Once you're in that mode where you're going to do it, just get up and go. A lot of times people come in and they're like tongue-tied. They don't know what to say. They have nothing to say. So the answer is that just showing up is already half the battle. And if you've just shown up, and let's say your whole session with Hashem consisted of just one phrase that you repeat over and over, which has happened to me many times, where I say, Hashem, I just want to be this. I just want to be this person. I don't want to have this negative character trait. Help me, help me, help me. And I don't know what other words to use. That's okay. It doesn't matter. Because a prayer is a prayer. It doesn't need to be some elaborate thing. It can be just a very simple line. A simple line, because Hashem knows your heart, your sentiments, your emotions. He doesn't need you to describe it in the greatest possible way. all that matters is that there's a communication flow. That you know that nothing in this world can happen without Hashem's assistance. And that's the thing about speaking to Hashem every day. It reinforces your emunah, your absolute knowledge that everything comes from Hashem, ein od milvado, and that everything's for the very best. Because you know that when you talk to Hashem, everything's going to work out. It may not happen in that moment, that same day, but ultimately, everything good that you should get will happen. So anyway, so we're back to basically, we found the space, and so the first thing is you get into that mindset. Hashem, help me focus. The next step is to basically, I like to recall the names of righteous people that I really am, that have a tremendous impact in my life, like Lubavitcher Rebbe, the Rabbi Nachman, the Baal Shem Tov, the Alter Rebbe, whoever it is for you. And I say I would like to connect myself in this conversation with Hashem to all these tzaddikim, so that you have guided me and continue to guide me, that they be with me. So you feel like they're with you, and they really are with you. So it's amazing. Then you feel like you're being accompanied to this conversation with all these amazing righteous people, and that your connection to them is also afterwards. Same thing with Hashem. So the next step after that is to pray. After you've recalled just the names of a few tzaddikim, 2 minutes, then you go into the next step, which is to pray for the sake of the whole Klal Yisrael, for all the Jewish people, because it says in the Gemara, when you pray for someone else, then you will be also taken care of. So you pray for may everybody have a refuah shlema, may everybody have their livelihood taken care of, may everyone. And you can also actually even identify specific names of people. May so-and-so be able to meet their soulmate. May so-and-so be able to have marital bliss. May so-and-so be able to have children. Whatever it is, 3-5 minutes or tops. Whatever you can spare. I would say 1/10 of the time you're planning to spend on this conversation is what you do. Then comes one of the most important parts is to revise the last 24 hours of your life, and to basically say, thank Hashem for the good things that you did, that happened to you that previous day. Let's say you had a great conversation with your wife, you have a great time with her, or let's say something great, you landed a great deal. You know that it's all from Hashem, thanks to Hashem, so you thank Hashem. Because gratitude is the building block of emunah. It's the building block of emunah, and it's what ultimately enables you to have a healthy communication. Healthy communication and relationship is where you show gratitude to those that help you. And of course, Hashem, when you show that truthful gratitude, then afterwards you're always aware of all the daily miracles and the invisible hand that's coming through in your life every day. And the more you thank Hashem, the more you see the little minute things every day, that they're truly amazing, that it's not just some random thing. You become more and more aware. The same thing, you also thank Hashem for the negative things that happen. I don't know, whatever it might be. Let's say you lost a deal. Maybe your stock portfolio went down to you today. Thank you, Hashem. Maybe so-and-so, someone close to you yelled at you. Okay, thank you, Hashem, that you made me aware that this person's unhappy with me, which means that I need to correct that. The next thing is, so you spend a good number of minutes on thanking Hashem for the different things. And by doing that, if you consistently every day do it, then you're always aware of the good things that are happening in your life. And you're also thanking Hashem from what is seemingly not good. Because in the end, everything that comes from Hashem is a bracha, is a blessing. Even what is seemingly a curse is not. We learned that in the parsha that just happened, Kitavo, that the curses are not really curses. The curses are because in our finite way of seeing things, we're not able to access the blessings in them. But anyway, all these things, so you're thanking Hashem for the good things. You're thanking Hashem for the things that didn't turn out so well. And it makes you feel better, makes you feel being able to overcome these momently hardships. We don't have a lot of time, so I want to get into the meat of the session that you have with Hashem. And the meat of it is spent on self-assessment, on focusing on one thing at a time that you want to change in your life. And as an example, let's say you have anger issues. You have anger issues. You're easily ticked off by people, whatever it is. Your child, your wife, your co-worker, and you've tried everything. You've gone to anger management classes. I can tell you, having sessions with Hashem, you're going to work that out. Because you're going to realize that what is the source of anger? The source of anger is a lack of emunah, because you believe that what is happening is not what should be happening. Meaning you think that you know better than God what should be happening. So you're angry at your lot in life. And then you realize, wait a minute, that's wrong. That's wrong. I should not be angry at all. That's a lack of emunah. That's a lack of faith. Because anger is tantamount also to idol worship. Anger is like one of the worst possible sins. So you start becoming disgusted by it. So what do? You say, Hashem, help me fix this character trait. And then every day you spend it only on working on this anger. And you look at the entire day. You take stock of all the interactions you had that day, the previous day. Say, how was I with my wife? Did I speak in this rude manner? Was I nice? And then you see, oh, I didn't do that right. Tomorrow, I'm going to try it differently. I'm going to do it differently. And Hashem, please be there with me to withhold me from having these urges to act on this natural negative trait that I have, that I want to get rid of. Or then let's say, how did I behave with my children? When my kid came to me and asked for my attention, and in that moment I was sending an email to an important customer, did I turn my ear to them, or was I ticked off? Did I say something angry? Or if so you are basically razor focused on that task. And I will tell you that there's no way that one session is enough to fix bad habits. Sometimes I've spent weeks, months on the very same issue until I felt that it became so minute that I can start tackling something else. Let's say I have issues with jealousy or envy, or let's say whatever it is, whatever it may be, you have to spend the time, because the things that require a lot of work obviously require a lot of investment. So that's how you come about to having this personal daily session with Hashem. It has happened to me that I missed a day, and obviously I didn't feel as great, and I would not feel terrible if you missed one, but the goal is to have it consistent. It's better that you have 10 minutes every day than 60 minutes once a week, because as we come now to Rosh Hashanah, some of us are going to have to spend the 24 hours of Rosh Hashanah trying to think of what did I do right, what did I do wrong, and try to think of how we're going to atone for it, what we're going to change. When you speak to Hashem on a daily basis, when you have this session of self-assessment, of doing a self-accounting of the good and bad things you've done in your day, every day is Rosh Hashanah, every day is Yom Kippur, because every day you're keeping accurate track of what you've done before. And this constant practice makes you extremely aware of what is happening in your life. You have this GPS that is constantly, a spiritual GPS that is guiding you, and you know where you're going. You're not blind. You know what your daily goals are. You know what you're working on. You know where your weaknesses are and how you can prevent them, because you are having active conversation with Hashem. So, one of the things that people ask me is, well, how do you get answers? Did Hashem speak to you? I will tell you this. Because our souls are unlimited, and the chelek mamash of Hashem, as it says, Lubavitcher Rebbe, Alter Rebbe, and Chassidus, it says, that means that we are not limited by reason, and as a result of that, our soul taps in to the answers. It taps into the solutions, and I can't tell you how it happens, but when you do it, you feel it. You feel like you're changing, like you're getting strength from Hashem to overcome what seems otherwise would be an impossible mission. And no human being, no therapist, no book can give you that immediate and like direct flow to your soul, to your mochin, to your brains, to give you the tools to overcome whatever issue or difficulty you're having. And sometimes, like, I'm faced with a situation and I feel my emotions stirring, and I say, wow, okay, I have this session coming up with Hashem. I'm going to pour my heart out. I'm going to tell him how I feel. And then I come out of it and I feel so much better. And suddenly, even if I have a problem with someone, that person is different. Like the interaction that was before when the problem just started is not the same. It's not this stressful, anxious thing. So as we come into Rosh Hashanah, you have 6 days. I did this, like I said, the second I found out about this concept of personal prayer, that 2 days later I went out and found a place, spent 6 hours. And I went through every moment of my life and I tried to pour my heart out. And we have 6 days here. I really recommend it. And I know you can find 6 hours or 2 hours or 1 hour and try to go through at least the last year, or even maybe all the parts of your life that are thorny and difficult, and pour your heart out to Hashem. You're going to come into Rosh Hashanah in a totally different communication, and you're going to feel lighter, and you're going to feel also way more focused, like you know what you need to work on. You're not just like trying to squeeze in 2 minutes here and there between a Kaddish and to the next part of the prayer where you have a moment to think, or in your silent Amida. That's not enough. Do it now. Don't waste a moment. I can tell you, you're not going to regret it. It will be the biggest game changer in your life, and I really recommend it. And you don't need anybody to give you tips on how to do it. I just did it because I wanted you to at least think about the idea from someone who's done it, to just give you like my complete endorsement of how amazing it is. But you can find your own way. You don't even need to go in the order I mentioned. That's what works for me. Find your own sequence of how you want to talk to Hashem. Just do it. That's the point. And when you talk to Hashem after that, it won't even be just that amount of time that you devote to talking to Hashem. You'll do it everywhere. You'll do it even in the shul while you're in your silent Amida. You'll insert prayers in the silent prayer, and you will see everything comes alive and is much more rich, and you feel that Hashem is with you at all times, and you feel that you can overcome any issue. So, Tiva Chatima Tova to everyone, and thank you very much for enabling me to share this, and when we all have the ability to have this gift, because it's all belongs to each and one of us. Each and one of us has the ability to have the closest relationship with Hashem. Thank you. Shana Tova Umtuka.